guys, welcome back here to today's edition of Intuitive Angling, and appreciate you guys swinging by the channel to spend some time with me. And guys, at the time of filming this video, we're in the end of February, which means right around the corner, pretty much starting about now for the next month, it is time for the Wiggle Wart and the Rock Crawler, two of the best crankbaits out there that you can fish during the spring, probably the two best crankbaits for sure. But guys, the last 2 years, I have been using another lure that catches just as many or more in a lot of different times than a Wiggle Wart or Rock Crawler. It's sort of an off-the-wall bait. Nobody fishes it. But I can promise you guys, if you are catching fish on a Rock Crawler or Wiggle Wart, if you try this bait I'm going to show you here, you'll probably catch as many or more on it. So we're going to get into that in today's episode here. Also, guys, a couple quick things before we get started. I just want to let everybody know we do have my spring Fish the Moment lake map breakdowns up on the fishthemoment.com website. Guys, these are lake map breakdowns that I've built for Fish the Moment that are great resources to get you guys some good fishing places on your favorite lake or a lake you've never been to. We got lakes of all across the country, 40 GPS waypoints with these maps you can download to your GPS unit, go straight to them, gives you guys tips and advice on how to fish each spot during the springtime of the year. So I'll have that lake map breakdown of mine link in the description of this video here. And also, guys, real quick, anybody interested in booking an on-the-water lesson with me, now's the perfect time to do it. Just go to my Facebook page, Intuitive Angling with Randy Blaukat, and shoot me a private message for details, so appreciate that. Okay, guys, I grew up here in the Ozarks, which is Wiggle Wart and Rock Crawler country. This is where it was founded at. You know, the Wiggle Wart gained fame here in the Ozarks, so I have fished it forever, for close to 50 years. And I've always looked for some type of like an alternative to it. I never could really find an alternative. To me, I prefer to use a Wiggle Wart. I will use a Rock Crawler if I have to, but it seems like I catch more in a Wiggle Wart. But guys, the last 2 years, I have been using this Megabass Super Z3 crankbait in place of that. And guys, there are certain situations where this thing will catch more bass than a Wiggle Wart or a Rock Crawler during the pre-spawn. So I want to talk about that. Now, you guys have heard me talk about the Super Z series, guys. This is the Super Z3, which has got the deep lip on it. And a lot of you guys have heard me talk about the Super Z2 for summertime fishing, which is one of my favorite baits. But Megabass makes this in a variety of different crawfish patterns for the springtime of the year. And the great thing about the Super Z3 that sets it aside from a Rock Crawler and a Wiggle Wart is, number one, it'll run a little bit deeper. If you put this on like 8-pound test or 10-pound test fluorocarbon, you can get down to that 12 to 15 foot range with it pretty easy. And also it has a little bit tighter wobble, not a tight wobble, but a little bit tighter wobble, which makes it a lot better in my opinion for those tough fishing days. So the time that I use this in the pre-spawn time of the year, or those days in the pre-spawn where fishing's a little tougher. It may be bright bluebird sky, not much wind. Normally a crankbait is better on a windy type cloudy day, especially those more aggressive baits like a Wiggle Wart or Rock Crawler. But guys, the Super Z3 will get down into that zone that those pre-spawn fish are at, which is sort of that 8 to 12 foot zone. And also with the wobble and the profile of the bait, guys, I catch a ton of fish on this thing. Nobody fishes it. A lot of people have fished the Super Z1 and 2, but I don't hardly ever hear anybody fishing the Super Z3. I'll put this in my Tackle Warehouse link in the description of the video if you guys would like to try a couple of them. But they got a bunch of good crawdad colors here. Let me see if I can pull a couple more out here to show you. There's more of a like a translucent one there. Really good spring looking color there. There's one that's like a sort of a shrimp natural looking, but they got a bunch of really good crawfish patterns that are good during the pre-spawn time of the year. Okay, what you want to do, and the way that I like to fish the Super Z3, guys, is I fish it normally just on a 6-foot 11-inch medium action bait cast rod. I prefer to use 10-pound test Seaguar Vizex line because with 10-pound line, I'm still getting it down into that 8 to 10 foot range. And for me, when I think about pre-spawn bass on crankbaits, I'm thinking about that 5 to 10 foot zone. And so this is going to get down perfectly in that depth zone. And it's pretty simple. I just throw it out there and just use a slow, medium, stop and go retrieve. Nothing fancy with it. But you've got to, like I said, it's a fairly tight wobble on this thing, about like that. And a lot of times, you know, when that water temperature's in the 50s and it's bright, it's clear water situation, This also, guys, the Super Z3 will outfish a rock crawler or a wiggle wart if you have really clear situations like, 4 to 5 foot clarity in your water. It seems like they like this profile and that little bit tighter wobble. But I really just wanted to clue you guys in on that. If you've never tried it before, Megabass Super Z3, really good alternative to a rock crawler and a wiggle wart. And that's the thing about it, guys. If you can throw something a little bit different than a rock crawler and a wiggle wart, you're going to be ahead of the game, because all the bass in the pre-spawn time of the year, everybody has got rock crawlers and wiggle warts on. More people are fishing rock crawlers now because they're more accessible, and the old school wiggle warts are harder to get. But guys, these are just as accessible as a rock crawler, and the bass do not see them. That's the great thing about it. Bass do not see it, but I can promise you guys, you put a rock crawler on and the Megabass Super Z3, and this Super Z3 is going to catch just as many or more bass than the rock crawler. So anyway, guys, hope you can catch some fish doing that. Really appreciate you tuning in. We'll talk later.